Good morning to all. Myself Omprakash Thakare, Assistant Professor, Sri Rautpura Sarkar University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Today I will take a subject of mechanical measurement and metrology. Unit number 2, measurement of pressure and transducer. So I will complete the remaining portion of the elastic pressure gauge, Bourdon tube gauge in before the class. Today I will take two gauges, diaphragm gauge and Bellow's gauge. So the diaphragm gauge. In this gauge, a thin plate of circular shape clamped firmly around its edges. The diaphragm gauge deflect in accordance with the pressure differential across the side, deflection being towards the low pressure side. The deflection can be sensed by an appropriate displacement transducer. It may be converted into electrical signal or may undergo a mechanical amplification to permit display of the output on an indicator dial. So this is the diagram of the diaphragm pressure gauge. So it consists of a element should be attached first spring, second pressure connections, then link, next fixed point, indicator and calibrated scale. So this is the construction. Next, working principle. When the pressure is applied both the left side of the connections, the pressure is come to the chamber. At that time the spring will be deflected and above the spring one diaphragm plate is available. So this is called as a one type of transducer. Diaphragm is also a transducer. When due to the application of the pressure, spring deflect and diaphragm also move to the upward direction. At that time the link will be attached top of the pointer. So pointer will be deflect 0 to some required position of the scale. This is your final output reading we have to calculate it. Application of the diaphragm gauges. First, use low pressure absolute pressure gauge, draft gauges, liquid level gauges, controlling the low range of direct pressure. Advantages. First, relatively small size and moderate cost. Second, minimum of hysteresis and no permanent zero shift. Then limitation. In limitation, first one needs to protect from vibration and shock. Second, difficult to repair, and third one not be use high pressure measurement. So the third number of gauges is Bellow's gauge. In Bellow's gauges, the pressure is applied to one side of the bellows and the resulting direction is counterbalanced by a spring. By suitable linkage, the bellows displacement is magnified and gauge pressure is indicated by a pointer on the scale. The axial moment is also called as a stroke corresponding to elastic deformation can be increased by increasing the number of convolution. The useful stroke is however normally limited to 5 to 10% of the maximum stroke. So this is the diagram of the Bellow's pressure gauge. So different types of elements should be attached Bellow's pressure gauge. First one is a Bellow's casing, spring, connecting link, rack and pinion arrangement, pointer and calibrated scale. So this is the construction of the Bellow's pressure gauge and the working principle. When we have to apply the pressure at the bottom of the casing, at that time the pressure is come to the bellows. Bellows will be compressed. So bellows compressed, the spring also compressed due to the application of the pressure. At that time the connecting link is attached sector to the casing or sector to the bellows. So now due to the application of the pressure, the sector will be deflect bottom side. At that time the hair spring will contact to each other, means that pinion arrangement is available in a hair spring. This pinion tip and sector teeth contact to each other and pointer will be come 0 to as a required position. This is your final output reading. So application of the force or pressure, the your final output reading calculated in a calibrated scale. Advantages: simple and rust construction. Second, moderate cost. Third one, good for low moderate pressure. Limitations: greater hysteresis and zero shift problems. Second, requires compensation for ambient temperature changes. Third, needs spring for accurate characterizations. So dear student, this is the complete of elastic pressure gauge. Thank you.